You're listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 97, Who Did It Better? And coming to you from the once again snowed-in suburbs of Chicago, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the supposed to be snowed-in suburbs of Providence, but not quite, your co-host, John Washington Matola.
Washington.
Happy President's Day, everybody.
Oh, it's President's Day as we record this. Yeah, there you go. I prefer Lincoln because it's the same birthday as my dad.
Well, you know something interesting that oh really? That's interesting in itself.
Not the same year, but the same day.
Well, Nate's a miracle baby. Apparently, or a lot older than we think. One thing that I didn't realize was that President's Day is actually Washington's birthday. They changed it to President's Day for some reason.
Well, I thought it was like that. It was like they had Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday, and they were so close to each other that they just made one day for both of them.
I don't know, something like that.
Something like that. Just one day so they could sell cars.
Yeah.
They still do President's Day sales?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know because of streaming and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't watch TV.
Watch
No
commercials.
idea.
I don't watch commercials anymore.
And if you ever see like an ad on Hulu or YouTube, there's no like local commercials.
Exactly. Like seriously, the only way I see any advertisements anymore is when I Google something and then all of a sudden it shows up in my Facebook news feed because it knows.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I'm advertised to now. All of a sudden, I'll not seen anything and then I'll Google something and all of a sudden it just shows up everywhere on my social media. I'm like, great.
Or even worse, you buy something and then it's constantly advertising, hey, do you want to buy this again? Like I already did. And it just constantly just keeps advertising.
I don't need another one.
Yeah, I just bought it, remember?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Double-edged sword, this technology.
Oh my goodness. This crazy modern world of electronic mail and streaming. It's unbelievable. So hey, listen, if you're new to the Deep Purple Podcast, I'm sorry for this crazy well, it's actually pretty low-key banter for us. Sometimes,
pretty tame this week.
Yeah, we could have been going like 20 minutes about the blue bug again or whatever. But if you want to support the show, there's a few ways you can do it. First, you could become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal for as little as $1 a month. A fraction of the cost of your coffee from Coffee Bucks. You could give that money to us and help us support the show, keep the show running, support all of our expensive habits like buying records for this show, and based on my computer crash right before the show, saving up for a new computer, which I talk about every week. We should just call it the new computer fund because it's the time is definitely coming. Then you could also leave us a 5-star.
I'll never get to see any of it, folks.
Exactly. But actually, before we get to that, let's thank our patrons. Coming in at the $20 Shades of Deep Pockets tier, Ryan M. The $15 Highball Shooter tier, Alan Ain't Too Proud to Beg. The Turn It Up to $11 tier, Frank Teelgard Mortensen, Clay Wambacher, and Mikkel Steen. At the $10 Someone Came tier, Steve Seaborg of NameOnAnything.com and AllTheWorldsAstage.net, Jeff Bryce, Gerald Kelly, and Victor Campos. At the episode $6.66 tier, Richard Fusey. The $5.99 Nice Price tier, Fielding Fowler. The $5 Money Lender tier, Greg Sealby, John Convery, Arthur Smith, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Kenny Wymore, Jasper Alman, and Alexi the Perfect Stranger Slipikoff. At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Peter Gardot, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Anton Glaving, Will Porter, and Andrew Meyer. And at the $1 made-up name tier, L's Murders, Spacey Noodles, The Dreadful Leaky Mausoleum, Michael Vader, Stephen Somerville, The Concerto 1999 Fanatic, Raf Calf, and, of course, James North, which is like a it's a made up name in that it's the kind of name that you would. Did we talk about this on the show before? But I went to school with someone named Barbara Johnson. My cousin Jeff was like, "There's no way that's her real name." Like, she moved into town like in like 11th grade or something, and it was just all of a sudden Barbara.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, it's too normal a name. Like that's got to be like witness relocation or something. It's not her. He just refused to believe it's her real name. That's
I
kind of how
can picture.
that's
I
how I
can
feel.
picture him saying that.
That's like, I could picture it like James North being the same situation. Oh, my name is James North. It's very, unassuming, you know. But thank you to all those wonderful
Yeah, exactly.
patrons.
But I get a kick out of it. I think it's great because it's so like it's not a made up. It's like it doesn't even sound like a made up name.
Nope, nope, it's too perfect. We'd also like to thank our brothers at Deep
I
Dive
mean,
Podcast Network, which you can get at deepdivepodcastnetwork.com. Check us out. Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Skinner Reconsidered, T-Bones Prime Cups, In the Lap of the Pods, and The Magician's Podcast. Also, just a reminder, York Planer, we haven't covered a lot of Whitesnake and David Coverdale lately, but York Planer still the best person to follow on Twitter. Also has stuff on Facebook that he posts. Amazing, amazing archivist of this period, particularly focusing on David Coverdale, but lots of other stuff. I also mentioned to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and we just talked about the Magician's Podcast. I was listening to that the other day, and our friend Scott mentioned something about if you go to Apple Podcasts and you click on the show, it only shows you reviews from your country. Did you hear that episode where he mentioned that? It, it was a recent one
no,
from like
I
this week.
haven't. I mean,
It was one of the more recent episodes. But
no, I'm behind like 50 episodes.
you slipped behind. You were doing good there for a while. But yeah, he's blistering pace of 4 episodes a week. But yeah, he mentioned that, so I said that's interesting. So basically, what you do is you click on the show, and then where it says or I guess for us it would say US or whatever, you erase that and then put the 2-country digit code for the country you want to get the reviews for. This seems, by the way, incredibly stupid that they do it this way. So you have to do it. I think you might have to do it on the desktop. I don't think you can do it on your phone. But you go to
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say I'm just looking on my phone, but I don't think that you can. It doesn't. It sounds like a desktop thing.
Yeah, so wherever the URL is. So like for example, if I go, let me just pull it up right now. If I go to the URL, pull up the podcast, it'll say podcast.apple.com/US. So where it says US, you just change that to GB for Great Britain, or DE for Germany, or AU for Australia. And it shows you a completely different listing of reviews and ratings and all that. So because I was wondering, like, some of these things I feel like I'm not seeing them. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know what that was.
No, I don't know. It's yeah, it could be anything in your house.
It could have been my kids. It could have been my chair squeaking. I have no idea. But
But is the thing is like, can you see just those countries individually, or can you select like worldwide, or can you just do like Great Britain and all those ones individual?
that's the
Is that
stupid
the
thing.
only
You
way you
have
could
to
do
do
it?
them like individually. So which seems to make no sense.
Oh
So
my goodness.
so basically what I've discovered by doing this is that when I go on there, there's reviews from like almost 2 years ago that have just been sitting there that I've never acknowledged, never seen.
Wow.
So
Wow.
anyway, I'm going to start peppering those into the shows moving forward. And I would first of all like to apologize to anyone who wrote a review expecting it to get read and I was like, oh, those jerks never read my review. Just figured this out now. Again, it seems like a really stupid way of doing this, but it is the way it is. So from today, we're
I
coming at
wouldn't have
you
thought of it.
with a review from Germany, and this one is fairly recent, from January 7th, 2021 of this year, but a lot of these go back to 2019. So this one is 5 stars from George DP. The title is Highway Star. This podcast is truly amazing. Since I've been a Deep Purple fan since 1978, I thought there could be little more to learn about the band and the extended Deep Purple family. Yet these guys have proved me wrong. The great stories and details they come up with every show are just crazy. It is wonderful to be part of the world spanning group of purple nerds that understand your peculiar affection and even share it. Thank you so much, you guys. So wow, it's great. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, George
Wow. That's
DP. We appreciate it.
You know, that might be if there were like how many did you see like how many different like does it show you like a number of like how many different like countries and reviews there are
No,
like
that that
listed on there?
that's the dumb thing. It doesn't show you anything. You basically never know that this exists until you do it. And then, if I go on, like if I like US right
Interesting.
now, I type GB for Great Britain. Boom, it comes up with we've got 18 more reviews in this one, and you just have to go country by
Yeah.
country. Like for example, I don't know.
So you have to figure it out. You have to figure out
Exactly.
which countries, or does it have a Oh
You
Jesus.
do it. So let me do
Okay.
I think JP is Japan. Let me do JP. Yeah. No reviews from Japan. Like I figured doing a country where English isn't the primary language would kind of limit it. Although we did have some from Germany.
Right.
Well, everyone in Germany can speak English because they're all way smarter and better than us. Um, but yeah, like so yeah, you just have
That'd
to
be
do. Let's
interesting if we have
I
like en- enough hidden reviews. We could do we could do a whole episode on like reading hidden reviews.
Yep. Exactly. Oh, there's no reviews from Italy, which means your brothers did not write a review. Unbelievable. Come on, Mike.
That's as Grandma Matolo used to say, that son of a bitch.
That's great.
Just pictured in broken English. You son of a bitch.
Well, you'll have to talk to him. So yeah, so that's very interesting. Incredibly stupid. I don't know why they do it that way. Why there's not some way you could get like you said, worldwide reviews. Why are they hiding it? So anyway,
Hmm.
apologies to all of our international listeners who have never been acknowledged. Well, hopefully now we're really backed up, and one by one we'll probably get to your reviews and reading them on the show. But thank you very much. Okay, so this week trying something a little different. Uh, this was kind of proposed by well, it was I wasn't really proposed. Well, I guess it was proposed by Rich or by our buddy Rich. There was a Facebook group where they were talking about, like, can anyone think of naming some songs that both that maybe two different separate branches of the Deep Purple family tree had the same song title but wrote a different song with that song title.
Hmm.
So they started throwing some around, and I even put it out on Twitter a few days later, and I think on Facebook as well, to see if anyone else had any more. And people got started throwing some extra additional ones. So I've selected three um, songs from today where we're going to check one versus the other, and just kind of listen to both of them and see what we think and see who did the about which version we prefer, or just kind of talk about the differences or whatever it is. It's kind of a, I mean, it's kind of a weird, it's not really a contest or anything. We're not going to rank the songs, and some of them we have already ranked, but it's just kind of talking about the difference between these two different versions of songs. We have three song titles, so we'll hear six songs total and just kind of talk about them. So we're always trying to think of new things, just not do album review after album review. And Rich actually came up with the idea of who did it better as the name of the episode. So that's kind of be the way we go through it. See whose song do we like better out of the ones mentioned.
You know, when you told me the name of the show, it made me think of, you know, they have that whole thing like who wore it better,
Yeah.
which I know is based
Yes.
off
Like,
of that.
yeah.
And do you remember like it was like several years ago, there was like a tweet or something like that from Robin Williams.
Mm.
And I guess it was I don't know, one of the Kardashians or something was pregnant, wearing a like a dress, and she's like, you know, holding her, you know, putting her hands on her stomach or everything. So Robin Williams posted a picture of himself from Mrs. Doubtfire, and it was basically the same print dress, and he wrote who wore it better, and it was a picture of the Kardashian on the other side. Right? He said like, I think I wore it better. What do you think? Or something like that. And I was like, I I never pay attention to stuff like that, but it was hysterical. So
Mm,
for
we
some
should.
reason, that's what this made me think of.
I like it. Well, we'll see. I don't know if there's any Mrs. Doubtfire tracks in here. Anything from soundtracks? There is actually something from a soundtrack, but it's not Mrs. Doubtfire. Um, so uh,
Darn.
so here we go. Are we ready to get into the first song? Um,
Oh, yeah.
so the
Oh, yeah.
first one. Which one should we do first? Okay, I think we're going to do this one because it's very familiar to any Deep Purple fan. And this is a song. We'll do the Deep Purple version first. The song is Into the Fire.
Love me some in rock.
It's been a while since we did this one.
Yeah, I know. Anybody clamoring for some classic Mark II should be happy right now.
Such a great groove.
And actually a very appropriate album cover to display today on President's Day.
That's right. See, these things always just kind of fall together.
Yeah, see, oh, we planned it. We planned it.
Yeah.
You know, I forget, was this one of the deep cuts that they did at the concert? Or was it no, it was something else.
Bloodsucker.
Bloodsucker.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was one of them. They're both heavy, so I forgot.
I think Bloodsucker is probably my favorite track on this album. One of those ones, the more I listen to it, the more I love it.
I think mine is, it's so hard to pick from this album. Flight of the Rat is always a standout for me. That would be funny if there was like the two songs where like two bands had Flight of the Rat, and like, well, there's the Deep Purple version, and then there's the Michael Bolton version. I don't know.
I think Michael Bublé. I'm still just mystified, like what I never really thought about at the time when I was first getting into Deep Purple. This was one of the first albums I really got, and just not really understanding how soon this came off of the heels of the self-titled Deep Purple album, and how much of a quantum leap it was for them. Of course, at that point, I don't think I'd heard Mark I at all, so I didn't hear that till later.
You know, it's kind of interesting that I would like listening to Ritchie solo in the background, how kind of similar it is to his earlier solos, and being a little like, you know what I don't really enjoy about his early solos, but it sounded kind of similar, but not really. And now it's starting to make me think maybe part of it was the production.
Yeah, and I think he was still using the
that I didn't like him
album,
on the first albums.
Which so he's getting a kind of similar.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I still say it was a combo of him, the production, and him developing his style.
Oh, for sure. And this album is, when you listen to it, compared to Machine Head from a couple years later, it's got a much more muddy sound to it. It sounds,
yeah, but you know what?
That's more like the 60s than the 70s.
That's what I love about it, though. I feel like this is one album where I feel like muddy production serves it well.
Oh yeah, it works fine because it's just such a heavy album.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of their heaviest albums, and I think if it were produced like Machine Head or Fireball or something that was a little cleaner, it might have. I think it would have sounded good, but I think it would have taken away from it a little bit. Like, that's part of its charm, is that really overdriven type of sound. I mean, that's why this song sounded so good, so heavy.
Well, you know what? I think I'm, let me just, so we're going to go with 3 Deep Purple songs. No other like members of the family fighting each other. So it's going to be Deep Purple versus a member of the extended family. And the track Into the Fire, this one comes to us from none other than Lynn Turner.
So now what year was this from?
God, I want to say it's like 2005 or something. see.
I'm sorry, did you say what, 95?
2005, I thought. Yes, 2005.
Actually, I kind of like it. I've never heard it before. Very 80s sounding, though.
Yes. This track has Al Pitrelli on guitar.
Joe Lynn Turner was one of those people that I always, before the show, kind of wrote him off, but I mean, he's really good.
Oh yeah, I think he gets a lot of crap.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I also have that newfound respect for him for the voiceover work that he's done. When you were past couple of years, when you were playing his commercials and everything, I didn't realize how much other stuff he had done besides being in bands, and you got to respect that.
Well, he's just an absolute professional, you know. He's somebody who, and with doing that commercial work, you got a sense of how many different styles he can do, and he was so good at emulating all of these different styles. And you know, he's had this career as being, he's done a lot of solo stuff, but he's been kind of a hired gun for, you know, everything. Yeah. Yngwie and Ritchie and whoever needed a singer, boom, he could jump in and do it. And it's,
but
he's kind
of a double-edged sword, though.
But he's also the studio. Yeah, exactly. So he gets this kind of reputation as being somebody who jumps around a lot, but. But he's also done a ton of songwriting.
Yeah, this definitely has mid to late 80s flavor to it. I feel like this is, would this happen to be one that was in a, you said something about a soundtrack. Was this in a soundtrack at all?
This one was not in a soundtrack.
Because I feel like this
sounds like it could. I think everything Joe Lynn Turner does sounds like it could be a soundtrack.
This sounds like it could be.
Like any Joe Lynn.
Yeah, like I don't know, when I hear that chorus.
If you edited it into any 80s movie, even one I've already seen multiple times, and had it in the background of some like montage or something, I don't think I would notice.
Like I feel like this is like a montage song. Like you could. Oh, what happened?
What happened?
Oh no, we're just getting to the solo.
Oh my goodness, we gotta. There we go. That was weird. Well, like I said, my computer's been doing weird things, so.
Your computer doesn't like JLT.
Come on, computer. It's like enough already. I played all this JLT over the years. Oh, wow.
Just hit its JLT bandwidth.
My goodness.
Does not compute.
What is going on with... Why is it shutting the song down? All right. Well, I guess you got the idea. Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully,
all right.
Maybe there's just a problem with that track. Hopefully.
The end.
Yeah. Hopefully the other songs don't have a. I'm gonna try it one more time because I'm
That's never happened to us.
No, there's something like, yeah, when I get to a certain point in this file, maybe the file's just corrupted. Because I get to a certain point in the file and it just stops. Okay. It just stops playing. So sorry about that.
Well, I feel like there's probably nothing different coming in the song. I guess we can take solace in that.
Yeah. I think we.
Well, what I was ready to say about that song was that I feel like it could have been part of, like you were saying, an 80s montage, like a workout montage, like da na 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 na, and you see the guy and he's lifting weights and he's jogging, and they're like fixing up the house or something like that. Like I don't know, like but I mean, to me, I feel that's a good thing because I think that some of this type of stuff, people would knock that kind of music, being like, "Oh, it's so dated and blah blah blah." But I mean, I feel like that's kind of nostalgic. When that makes me think of that kind of stuff, I get a good feeling about it. It makes me,
Yeah, there was definitely
I
a
like
time
it.
when I would have really hated it, but I've grown like
Yeah.
a respect for it. And
Hmm.
it's funny because this
Yeah.
came out in 2005, which seems like it was just yesterday, but it was like 16 years ago. But it sounds like it could have come out in, excuse me, in like the late 80s.
Like 20 years earlier than that.
Yeah.
But I
Um,
mean, that's JLT's wheelhouse,
oh yeah, yeah. I
is
mean,
doing music like this.
well, he
So,
can do whatever Mac the Knife or Love Hurts or whatever those commercial jingles were that he was doing. He can. This is what he does.
hmm.
So
All right. So yeah. What do
I don't know.
we
I don't
just,
know. Do we need to pick one or do we just, just let them speak for themselves?
well, I think maybe we discuss now, compare and contrast, um, is what I'm thinking. Um, I mean, obviously you couldn't be more different. I mean, these songs came out years and years apart. And the only thing they have in common was that JLT was played with Ritchie and Deep Purple at other points. But other than that, I feel like I couldn't pick one song better than the other because I think in this case they both have their merit because they're completely different.
Hmm.
The Into the Fire, Deep Purple has that, as we were talking about, raw early 70s muddy heavy sound, really kind of plodding along, like just kind of a pioneering heavy metal sound, if you will. And then JLT's version many years later is kind of a throwback montage 80s song, which is clean and well produced, and who has who was that guitar player?
Al
Al,
Petrelli.
Al Petrelli, yeah, like a just notable guitar player on it. Really good. I liked it too. Like I wouldn't. I don't think I would pick one over the other. I think they both have their merits, and like if I was going to listen to either one, I'd have to be in a different mood. Like it's not
Hmm.
comparing apples to apples. So I give both of them a thumbs up since we're not doing stars or ratings.
Yeah, it is kind of, it's really hard to compare them because like you said, they're so different. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people yelling at their podcast right now. It's clearly the Deep Purple song, which like obviously, yeah, that's the classic. That's the one that everyone knows for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to write off this song for what it is. That's in that style. It's, that's exactly um exactly what you'd expect from JLT. So um yeah, give me 1 second here. All right. So where was I? Into the
You
Fire.
were, yeah, you were discussing the you were discussing the two songs. I already did my spiel on it.
Yeah, so yeah, you've got two very very different styles. I think uh yeah, like you can't just it's really kind of an apples to oranges comparison right now. You could definitely say which one you prefer, but um I don't know that I can, yeah, obviously I didn't really know the Joe Lynn Turner song well or at all until very recently. So my allegiances go to Deep Purple, but Joe Lynn Turner, it puts in a great Joe Lynn Turner style song in that style that he does so well. You get Al Petrelli on it, who, again, I don't know much about Al Petrelli other than that he's like legendary. He's been in all sorts of bands. He worked with Megadeth and Alice Cooper and all these other folks. He's you
Mhm.
know he's a legendary guitar player that I know his name very well, but I don't necessarily know his work
Mm,
all that well because he was
right.
in an era of Megadeth where I wasn't probably paying as close attention as during other eras. But yeah, great stuff. Um, okay, we're ready to move on to the next track.
Yeah.
All right. So since we're doing this in alphabetical chronological order, not alphabetical order. Although is it in? No, it's not in alphabetical order. That would have been a
A
happy
happy
little
surprise.
mistake. A happy
Hmm.
surprise. Well, yeah, actually wouldn't have been that happy because who cares? But the the next track is Deep Purple, The Gypsy. A song that I think when we did our episode was kind of just like not having listened to this album for a little bit or listening to it as closely. I just love this song. It's one of those tracks, it's the second to last track on the album, and it can kind of get lost in all the greatness on this album, and I just think this is a fantastic track.
Tell me, gypsy, can you see me in the crystal ball? I'm asking you, what can I do? My back's against the wall.
And I love the songs where Coverdale and Hughes sing together the entire time. They harmonize so well together. It's like this and You Keep On Moving, they get that kind of same feel to it vocally.
A couple of things that we probably don't remember if we talked about them before, but one thing is when they were doing the intro and Ritchie keeps playing like higher up and higher up the harmonies with himself. Mm-hmm. And before the vocals comes in, you can hear it's probably Coverdale with that breath, like he's either inhaling or exhaling before the vocals start.
Yeah, I love it. It almost sounds like maybe like a reverse like reverb on it too.
And then Hughes does some really interesting bass stuff during the verses.
Yeah.
Just melodic. In addition to their harmonizing vocals, which is just is very, I want to say complex, but it's not like, they're definitely putting in some effort to make it interesting.
I will never understand the crap this album gets.
I think that an album like this, song like this, only gets crap from most Purple fans just in relation to other Purple albums. I feel like the Mark III, Mark IV would get a lot of stuff from people that were diehard Mark II fans because it doesn't sound like Mark II.
Well, I think, well, of course, yeah, and I think a lot of it is that classic knee-jerk, oh, it's not what I'm used to, or I didn't like it, or I listened to this album once, I haven't listened to it in 20 years, and you just let it roll around in your mind. I've heard so many people say, oh, come taste the band, I didn't like it, and I listened to it again, and I'm like, wow, it's a really great album, because they just wanted to write it off, or they heard other people say these things and parroted their opinions, and like we've talked about a million times, you actually give it a honest listen on its own merits without thinking of what other people say about it, and it's a great album. And I love that this, like, you could have this lengthy like solo part, but they just let this great harmonized melody just fade it out instead of doing any crazy solos.
Another thing I noticed, Ian Paice throwing in some crazy fills in this song too.
He was on fire in Mark III. And he's always on fire, but
oh yeah. And then John Lord just providing some nice color in there. He wasn't really.
Yeah, more
that's what I love about that guy. I've said it over and over. You know, is he doesn't have to always show off. He just that little before that break before the solo, just a little boom boom.
Yep.
Little atmosphere, a little background stuff. And even Ritchie, just kind of a nice melodic rainbow, what would turn into a rainbow-esque style solo.
Mm-hmm.
Just good stuff.
Great stuff. But there's more great stuff to go up against it. I don't know if you've done the calculation in your head already, but here we go. Another song called Simply Gypsy.
Mhm.
Bit of a different vibe to it.
I always loved that. Oh yeah, you couldn't get any more different. Is that compared to the other songs on this album that Dio was just really just singing his ass off? Not that he doesn't sing his ass off, but he was just like really just going for that almost screamy vocals where he's like, yeah, yeah, all right, I'm just gonna like he was just going for a really aggressive performance in this one.
Yeah, really letting loose.
I mean, here's another album too that gotta be hard pressed to find a song on this entire album that I don't like.
Yeah, I can't wait till we do this episode.
I mean, the Dio albums were, especially this one, huge part of my teenage years. Remember this and Last in Line were together on that special from the Spectrum video.
Yep.
Just watching the VHS and seeing all these songs and the Last in Line songs and just cursing the fact that I wasn't born like 10 to 15 years earlier. So I could have seen this in concert. I mean, of course I got to see him later, but never this lineup, sadly.
Really is just pushing his vocals to the limit here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've never really thought about it. He's straight from hell. He's just like growling. And I mean, we all at this point, we all know what Ronnie can do. And I feel like he just walked in. He's like, I'm just going to do this raw, crazy vocal.
Mission accomplished.
And that's another thing. I'd be hard pressed to find like a Ronnie song that I don't like. Like, I can't think of anything that he's sung that I'm just like, it sucks. I can't.
The only thing that you ever mentioned that was that Christmas album, just not being crazy about his vocals on that song.
Yeah, I think it had more. Yeah, we've talked about it before too. I think it had more to do with the fact that the whole thing as a song just didn't. I don't think it worked that well. Not that Ronnie wasn't good. It just wasn't suited to like the version he did. Just didn't sound like it fit.
Right. Well, I think yeah, it's when you get one of those like let's throw every, that whole album, like every song was like Mike Portnoy on drums, Steve Morse on guitar, Ronnie James Dio on vocals, Rudy Sarzo on bass. It was just like this like mix and match collection
of virtuoso
all
musicians, right?
Great heavy metal people. And that doesn't always, if everyone's just kind of doing their tracks separate or they're not like gelling together, it doesn't mean it's going to be a great track. It's just, yeah, you got all those names on the track, but was it produced well? Was it written well? Was it put together well? Was it, all of those people could sit down and do one take and boom, great, done, on to the next thing. But does it have the same, I don't know, heart in it as if they were a band together really jamming out? So that might have been the problem you had with that one.
Yeah.
Ronnie's going to come in and sing and be great and probably do one take, but might not be what you're looking for. But anyway, this I think was what you're
Mhm.
looking for. So that's another hard one to compare.
Yeah, again, I think um what did you say? Apples to oranges. Um so yeah, I don't know. I think again I gotta give two thumbs up to, each song, but being completely different. Deep Purple's Gypsies definitely has more of a that laid back vibe to it. There's some maybe you have a word for it. There's some kind of vibe on that album, and especially on that song, uh, the Deep Purple Gypsy, which I don't know. Maybe it's those songs where you look at the album cover and you get this kind of image in your head, and you just like, yeah, that music fits with that cover, and it just, you kind of get this, I don't know if it was like a kind of a medieval feeling or some kind of, I don't know what kind of feel that album gives me, but I kind of get this vibe from that whole album.
Like
I think a
Stormbringer,
lot
yeah.
of it comes from, yeah, the Stormbringer album. Like I think kind of Ritchie's playing, the direction that it was going in, maybe the scales that he was using. It kind of got the same thing from the first couple of Rainbow albums. Like I guess maybe medieval might be the right word. Kind of like
Yeah,
not of this era, like
he's using a
a
lot of those
bygone
like
era type of
Arabic
feeling.
scales and things like that. So
Yeah.
that influence, and like, and he has the same kind of thing when you think of the solo in Stormbringer and the solo in Gypsy. They're very similar in that the whole song changes. Typical Deep Purple things, changes for the solo section, slows down, turns into something completely different. Ritchie is doing a lot of slide work on this album. He's sliding around on the songs in these like Arabic scales, playing like kind of
Hmm.
experimenting with that. So that I think that's, you've got that in Holy Man, you've got that in this. You even have a little bit of that feel in like Soldier of Fortune. So I could see what the album does have a really consistent feel to it. Then you've got other tracks on the album which kind of are a little the funkier stuff in the middle, but yeah, the Gypsy always kind of has that right before the end feel to it for the album, and this song is obviously much more upbeat and uh, much more rockin'. But
What, the Dio
the Dio Gypsy,
Dio Gypsy?
yeah,
Yeah, Dio Gypsy is completely different because, and I mean, even looking at the guitar styles too, Dio's, I'm sorry, Blackmore's solo kind of evokes a feeling and an era almost, and Vivian Campbell's solo fits the Dio version, and it's just like a rockin' solo.
mm-hmm.
Not typical. I think he was definitely a good flashy guitar player, but you don't get any of that kind of like, oh, cookie cutter 80s guitar player on it. Like he was really good on this album, but it was a tasteful good. It's not like that where you started to hear in the later 80s where you got that whole, the this kind of music, hair metal became scrubbed clean corporate, type music, and then it's just, you heard all the guitar pyrotechnics and it kind of became boring. Like this still sounded, it still sounded raw. It was really aggressive. Like I said, you heard like Dio's vocals, and it's just like, okay, we know that he can really put in a performance, but it just sounded like he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna just blast this out,
Yep.
vocally. But I think that's what the song called for, because it was trying to do this really kind of hard driving song, and all the musicians too in both bands. I mean, you can't. I don't know. I can't say enough about them. They're all classic. They're all legends, as far as I'm concerned. Um, but again, Vogue's a different mood, and this is the type of thing on the Holy Diver. You're going to find all these type of songs on it that fit that mold. It's definitely more of a early 80s rock, and really well produced too, because a lot of albums and guitars and stuff in the early 80s were really produced really shittily.
Mm-hmm.
That's a that's a really crappy, and this still holds up, has a great sound to it.
Yes, yep. definitely does. Two great tracks named Gypsy. Um,
Mm.
the next song up is from a Deep Purple album that we have not covered yet. This will be the first time we're covering it. It's an album we've talked about a bunch on the show.
Can you do it? Can you do that?
Well, I guess we're going to. We're not going to rate the song, so
Scandalous.
you'll have to, based on what this album is, you might have to wait till I don't know, about two or three more years before we get to it.
Oh, scandalous.
I
Oh,
know, right? Do you have some time to process this? You need. But this is an album. This comes from the album Bananas, which I have long talked about. I feel like talk about Stormbringer, Bananas gets an unfair rap. Like this album gets shit on by everybody. And like we've talked about, I think largely it's just because it's got a really kind of bizarre album cover. I mean, not bizarre, it's very literal, but it's just kind of like I could definitely go with you saying this was like I could definitely go with someone saying this is a bad album cover, but I will not agree that it's a bad album. I think it's a really good album. And it's an album that I listened to so much lately because do you ever have like that thing where I don't know if you have like the Bluetooth on your car and you start up your car and it just starts up your music. If I don't if I don't have something, like if I'm not on my podcast app or whatever, it just automatically starts playing Bananas. Like I guess it's because it starts with a B and it's early in the alphabet. So I listen to this album probably more than I even want to because it's just always like, oh, Nate started up his car. I guess he wants to listen to Bananas again. I'm like, oh, like the opening to this album I've heard so many times I'm almost sick of it. And yeah, I feel like I've heard this in the last year. I feel like I've heard this album more than I've heard any Deep Purple album. But then I start listening to, sometimes you do it and you get like, 20 minutes down the road and you don't even, oh, I'm still listening to this. I forgot. But this song is called Haunted. It's the third track on the album. It was the single actually from the album as well. And it's a great, I really like this track. It's very non-typical Deep Purple. So here we go. This is the track Haunted by Deep Purple.
I hear the beating of your wings, as if you're playing all my strings. In mysterious ways, you draw me in to a love beyond all understanding, beyond my reach.
It's funny looking at this album cover while this song is playing.
I know. I'm like looking at this and I'm like, I can't like put something else up. Because my first impression of this is Gillan's vocals are so good. Like he's not you could tell he's not phoning in his performance. It's very emotional. I like it.
It's beautiful. It's got strings here. Backing vocals come in a little bit later.
What year was this album again?
2003. This album's almost 20 years old.
Jeez.
So this album is almost as old as like In Rock and all that was them when we were getting into that. You know?
Jeez.
It feels like this album just came out. With like Gillan joked at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like, Steve Morse has been in the band a mere 25 years or whatever. The new guy.
Fades away.
And the backing vocals on this are by Beth Hart.
Good solo. I know these guys are in the same family of virtuoso musicians, but I feel like Steve Vai could have played this solo too. And that's definitely a compliment. Like really, really great sounding solo.
I think the production on this is great. And obviously, they put a lot into this because of the signal, but it takes a really cool tone to it. And like I said, you got Beth Hart doing the background vocals, and not that it's cool that it's her, but it could be anyone doing just those vocals. The way that they're produced sound really great. Obviously, she's a fantastic singer, but it's
Who was it again?
Beth Hart. So really really cool song. I gotta say, like I talk about listening to this album all the time, whether I want to or not. Every time I hear it, I'm like just like, oh, I can't wait till we do this episode, but it's probably gonna be a while.
Well, I liked it. I will admit that I have never heard that song before.
It's a good one. It's one
Yeah.
of I think it's one of the standout tracks on the album, but honestly, there's a lot of really good stuff on the album, including another one that we might have to do with if we do a future episode of who did it better. But anyway, that was Haunted by Deep Purple. But who else could have done Haunted? Well, I did talk about earlier a movie soundtrack, and that movie, believe it or not, is Highlander 2. I just saw that reaction. But it's not Queen this time. They've traded Queen for none other than the funk man himself, Glenn Hughes, with Robin George.
Telephone ringing in the dead of night. I wake up, call his eyes. I am not alone.
It's a very unusual
This
performance.
is Glenn Hughes?
Yeah.
Perfume lingers in the air.
I don't think I've ever heard him sing like this before.
Yeah, it's very unusual.
unusual. Yeah. What year is this?
91.
In the dark of night, I lie here shaking.
He's almost got like a raspiness to his voice.
Aching with love for you.
Oh, there we go.
I am not afraid.
Oh, he goes back to it.
You can take me, you can take me.
I almost wondered, was he being coached to sing like that?
Away to another time and place.
Well, I definitely feel like it was a an intentional choice.
Yeah.
I feel like Glenn Hughes, excuse me, Glenn Hughes tries to be really diverse, kind of like a JLT, but it's hard, like with his music, but it's hard because his voice is so distinct
Yeah.
that there's really not much else that he can do with it. That's not to say he's not good or that he's not diverse. It's just like, but you know what I mean? It's so distinct that it would be hard for him to do like all the different styles of music that he does. He just will always sound like Glenn Hughes, very distinct.
Yeah, he's not as much of a chameleon as, although JLT has a very distinct style too, but
Yeah.
he can emulate those other styles, whereas I don't think Glenn Hughes could. Glenn Hughes, you couldn't sneak him into a commercial and have us not notice. All of those JLT commercials, basically, you could have played that commercial on TV. Never in a million years would you have even known it was him. If you played a commercial with Glenn Hughes, like after 3 seconds, I'd be like, "Is that Glenn Hughes singing?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like Glenn can do different styles of music, and honestly, some of them don't work that well. But that's just because he's a very distinct type of singer, and his voice doesn't work with some genres of music. As well, I should say, not as well.
I mean, I've never made any bones about the fact that I love anything Glenn Hughes sings. So, like, to me,
yeah.
I just love listening to him sing. Like, I don't care what he's singing. And this is cool. I love that it's from the Highlander 2 soundtrack. It says music from and inspired by the film. Like, I always wondered about that. Like, could you just be like, hey, you got a soundtrack coming out? Well, I wrote a song inspired by the film. Could you include it on the soundtrack, please?
Yeah, just I was hanging around set, and this song just came to me. I was inspired by the storyline, the costumes, the.
Glenn Hughes was like, I just heard Highlander 2 was coming out, and me and Robin George wrote this song, and could you please put it on the soundtrack, even if it's not in the movie? I don't remember how long it was since I've seen Highlander 2, so I don't remember if that's even in the movie. But you Highlander 2 fans out there can let us know what scene it's in.
I don't know. I never liked that kind of stuff. It's like if you were gonna have a song on a soundtrack that was inspired by the movie and it wasn't in the movie, then my thought was always like, is that code for it was too shitty to put in the movie, or like I don't know.
Yeah, or did we just not have enough music to fill up a soundtrack and we had to like pad it with other stuff? You know, either way, it seems
Yeah.
kind of lazy. But Robin George has worked with a number of people. I'm not familiar with Robin George at all, but he's from
Me neither.
Wolverhampton, which is where Glenn is from. So I'm wondering if they grew up together and knew each other from their childhood. It's quite possible. I don't see a birthday for him, so I don't know how old he is. But there you go. Another two haunteds, two haunting haunteds.
Yeah, this is a different one for me because I never heard either one of them.
That's true, right? I had not heard the
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Hughes Robin George one. Yeah, so the only two songs I hadn't heard on this are the JLT Into the Fire. I hadn't heard until like yesterday or something, and then the Glenn Hughes Robin George one I hadn't heard until today. So I looked it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of a couple new ones for me too.
Well, in this case, I would actually have to give it to the Deep Purple Haunted. I immediately liked it. I really liked it. What got me was Gillan's vocal performance, like right off the bat,
Yep.
and the production and the guitar solo were all excellent. I just love the vibe of the song. The Glenn Hughes one, I guess the best way to describe it is kind of just in his body of work, kind of like nondescript. I mean, like you said, nothing that Glenn Hughes sings could be bad, but it's I don't know if I really liked the raspy thing that he was doing. It was different for him, which I thought was like, oh, cool. I never heard Glenn Hughes do this before. But after a while, I'm like, just go, just do your Glenn Hughes thing. Yeah, the Glenn Hughes version was just I don't know. It didn't really do anything for me. Like if I was gonna rate it, it would be like a 3. It's just kind of like it's on the background. It's whatever. Didn't
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
out. The Deep Purple one definitely stuck out though,
yeah,
for a few reasons. I was actually surprised I liked it so much.
yeah, yeah. The whole Bananas album is is a great listen in my opinion. Um, all right, so there you have another haunted. I think I'd have to agree with you. I really like the vibe, especially the beginning of that the Glenn Hughes song. Kind of reminded me almost a little bit of like Hughes Thrall at the beginning. Kind of a feel like it could have been on that
Hmm.
album. And the copy I have is pretty muddy from like I just got that one from YouTube, so it was pretty um yeah, just not a great quality version. They did release it again on another album that came out in like 2008, like a cleaned up version that sounds a bit better, but it doesn't have like the intro part, which is weird. So
Hmm.
yeah, that one is like a combination album with I think it's is it just Robin George or is it both of them? I can't remember. But it's I feel like that the Deep Purple one is a really one of their better songs from the modern era, the modern lineup.
Hmm.
Um, and this one is kind of a Glenn Hughes song that I think is mostly forgotten. Um, so there you have it. But three song titles, 6 songs side by side. If any of those are new to you, you can check them out and see what you think. See what you think, and also even more importantly, if you have any others that I've got a short list. I've probably got like maybe 6 or 7 more. But if you have any others that you think would be a good um, side by side for us to do in one of these episodes, let us know so we can include them in the future because it's interesting kind of stacking these songs up against each other. Um, Even though we kind of
Hmm.
copped out on the first two and didn't really pick a favorite. um, hard to do in those first two. But before we go, we do have an unprecedented mailbag. The magnificent Norman Weichelbaum, who we've been in contact with since the very early days of the podcast, who was instrumental actually in getting Mr. Don Airey on the show. We appreciate his help and support with that. Um, Sent us a care package here. Um, Said, I want to donate something to the show. So donated this giant box here. This came all the way from Austria and is a little banged up. Um,
Wow.
but this is just a collection of vinyls. He said it's not anything. Oh, put it right here. He said it's not anything like rare or anything, but this is his Deep Purple vinyl collection. He's donating it to the archives of the Deep Purple podcast. So, let's see if I can. I probably should have like maybe got to work on this tape earlier.
So for all the audio listeners, Nate is now stabbing the box and the tape
because
to get it
I
open. He
actually
probably should have.
I had a pair of scissors and I didn't bring them downstairs, so I'm like. I am making stabbing motions. I will. Oh, it's very well packed here. I'm stabbing it with
Yeah,
a
we were
pen.
like, he said the box is banged up, and we're like, well, we don't know if we're just gonna be like looking at pieces of an album or.
All right, what do we got here? Oh my goodness. Oh, there's DVDs too. Look at this.
Wow.
Ooh,
All right.
a Butterfly Ball DVD, which is
All
really
right.
great because I had found,
I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
yeah, the Butterfly Ball DVD. And I love this is what Roger Glover said in his thing. He was really pissed off because it's like the DVD has this is a picture of Glenn Hughes. And he was like when the DVD came out, he wrote this thing about it that I think I probably mentioned it on the episode, but he's like,
Yeah, you
I don't
did.
understand. Why am I looking at a picture of Glenn Hughes? He's like, oh, I get it. They told it was the bass player from Deep Purple. They Googled it. Glenn Hughes came up first, so they just slapped his picture.
Jesus, good
So lazy.
God.
Wow, look at this. Inside Deep Purple, an independent critical review. Look at that. Oh, nice. 1974 to
That's another DVD.
1976. Yeah. Wow.
Wow, the years that we are most interested in,
I know.
typically
When you
our
come
favorite
visit,
years.
we'll have some washing to do. Um, ooh, classic albums.
Oh
This is
yeah,
great. Live classic albums, Machine Head. So look at that.
and that's
A
is
musical
that a
biography telling the incredible story of the making of Deep Purple's album Machine Head. I've seen it on YouTube, but
yeah, I've
I
heard
don't
that.
have
Yeah,
a DVD copy, so this is great. Bonus interviews. Wow, this is awesome. Oh,
yeah, these are actually some really. This is not. You know,
no,
this is not garbage.
no, this is great stuff.
This is
The way he made
treasure.
it sound is like, oh, I'm just sending you some crap, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. Look, Inside Deep Purple, 1969 to 1973. So there's the other half of
Jeez.
that, featuring rare archive material previously unavailable on DVD. I wonder if this is like one of those documentaries I might have seen part of on YouTube. But wow. And then White Snake live in the still of the night.
Nice. Now, what's that? What concert is that?
It
Is that from
is.
the? Is that like '87?
Um good question. Um Lots of stuff on here, but I can't tell where it's. Okay, you got White Snake is okay. David Coverdale, Doug Aldrich, Reb Beach, Marco Mendoza,
Oh, okay. So recent.
Tommy Aldrich.
Recent,
So yeah,
yeah.
recent-ish. Well, Doug Aldrich has been
Yeah,
gone for
still
a bit, but and then,
still good.
yeah.
I know, like the logo has remained so constant. Didn't know if it was a concert from the '80s or not.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, nice. Then what else have we got in here? My goodness. I'll put these over here. Deep
There's
Purple
going to be
might
some
just,
required viewing when I come up.
I know. Deep Purple might just take your life single, the B-side of Coronarius Redig. That's in good shape too.
Awesome.
We've got the Smoke on the Water single. And these must be yeah, they printed in German. These are German release. Well, this one's a German release anyway. Purple Records. Look at that. And then, oh my God, a stack of LPs here. Deep Purple in concert. These are in really good shape.
I always loved that album cover.
It's a really cool. Yeah, it's iconic. Yeah, got the 5 pictures there. The unreleased BBC tapes. Deep Purple Machine Head, Purple Records pressing. German. Oh, with the gatefold, nice. Wow, I feel like it's Christmas morning here. Ooh, made in Europe. I don't think I've made in Europe on vinyl. You do, right? You have a vinyl copy.
Yeah.
I don't think I have
Yeah.
a vinyl.
And this is this what our logo is fashioned after and our
That's right.
merchandise.
Yep. Fantastic. Ooh, what we were just talking about, Stormbringer. This is
Nice.
a UK pressing, it looks like.
Yeah, the is the Stormbringer font on the front is that different?
Yeah, I think
Like the title
let me look up my
looks
copy.
different.
Yeah, here's the copy that I have that I can share with you, which is Stormbringer is written really, really tiny.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And
That one's like big red letters on the one you
what my
have.
vinyl copy has, but I don't remember. Ooh, here we go. Can never have too many copies of Come Taste the Band. Look at that.
See, this dude knows what we like.
Yeah, he does. He's a great guy, like I said. Come Taste the Band.
Wow.
Ooh, a copy of Made in Japan. Whoop. Got here. Ooh, whoops. Almost dropped a record on the floor. Oh, it's a Purple Records. Made in Germany, a German release. I think it's like I think I have like 4 copies of that now somehow. I've inherited. Ooh, nice. Deep Purple, last concert in Japan. I don't have this one. I don't have this one on vinyl. This one looks in really good shape. Copyright 1977.
Is that the Tommy Bolin playing with one finger concert?
Yeah. Maybe not his finest performance. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this beauty. Never heard of this album before. Does it say? It's hard to read that script down there. Perfect Strangers? Am I reading that right?
Huh.
Hmm.
I think so.
We'll have to do some more
Who's that,
research
by a
and
band called Deep Purple?
get back to you on this one. This is a West. This says printed in West Germany. I think the
Okay.
East German pressing is even more hard to come by. Oh, another classic. Powerhouse. This is one I've never owned either.
What is this one?
This is like a, as far as I remember, it's like a compilation they'd released after the band broke up, and they're like, "Well, crap, we got to release." He's got, it's got the. Oops, keep banging my head on this thing. It's got like the on the back, you can see it's got like the Stormbringer logo, with Powerhouse, but it's got Painted Horse, which is that I think it was from, wasn't it from Who Do We Think We Are, like an unreleased track. Hush, Ring That Neck, and then side 2 is Child in Time, Black Knight, and Cry Free, another one of those unreleased tracks. Cry Free closes the album. A rather lovely Gillan lyric over Hard Purple riff. That was supposed to be on the In Rock album. And then Painted Horse, yeah, it was from Who Do We Think We Are. Nice. Wow, Norman, you've outdone yourself. Ooh, the self-titled album. With the, isn't this the one that's the weird? I keep banging my head on this. It's not good. Isn't this the, yeah, this is the one with the, it's like they did the gatefold wrong. It's like it opens like this.
Yeah.
Like it's like the, so the album is covered sideways if you open the gatefold this way. Nice. Oh, this one. This is like a lot of albums that I've seen a million times, but I've never owned on vinyl. So this one, the Deep Purple Mark 1 and 2, it's like a woman's jeans. Like
I have that one.
You have that one?
Yeah.
I always thought if you found like a Deep Purple fan who was like, she was really into the band, she'd have that tattoo right there that says Deep Purple Mark 1 and 2. For the most part, just confuse people. And on the back is just the Deep Purple sticking out of her tight jeans.
This is such like a non-Deep Purple cover.
This is printed in Germany. So it's in German. It says side 1 and side 2 in German. Oh, ooh.
Well, I forgot that I had that one, but I do have this one.
Oh, and yeah, on the inside.
I probably picked it up from an import store.
The legs. Look at that. Wow. I think Norman, you've just like doubled my Deep Purple vinyl collection overnight. Oh man, I don't have this one either, believe it or not. Boom. Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Oh, we're just talking about it.
Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Yeah, I don't have this one.
Blackmore's Rainbow.
Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. All right, what else we got here? Oh,
The hell's my care package? Nate's the collection's getting expanded over here, and I'm getting nothing.
I know. You're boom, long live rock and roll.
Jeez. Well, to be fair, I mean, Nate, you do all the work, so you deserve the albums.
Beautiful. Long live rock and
Always
roll.
love that cover.
I see the back of a very familiar album. Boom, Difficult to Cure. I gotta say, these albums are
the all too familiar masks.
These albums are like in way better condition than mine are. Difficult to Cure. Look at this, beautiful. And I see the back of another familiar Rainbow album. Boom.
My God, how much stuff is in here?
Down to Earth.
Oh, Down to Earth.
Look at that. This is great because I don't think I had any Rainbow on vinyl, and now I have like everything. Assuming
every Rainbow.
I said, oh, there's one I'm missing, but guess what the next one is, baby? Rainbow Rising. Look at that.
Oh,
that's
beautiful.
a beauty. Yeah, I would only ever had these on.
We're gonna have to spin some of this vinyl too when I
You're gonna have to stay for a
eventually
long
come out.
time.
I'm gonna have to take a friggin'. I'm gonna have to take a week and a half off or something.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my kids. What is this? This one does not. look familiar.
We'll send them away to camp.
Oh,
Right, that's a thing.
Rainbow on stage. Look at that.
That's a good one.
I only saw the back, and I've never owned this one either. This was one that was getting requested a lot that we do an episode on. So, and once again, just want to let everybody know because everybody emails me or Twitters me or messages me all the time, every day. Would you guys ever consider doing this album or that album? Like any album is on the table. Like we haven't ruled anything out. Like if we're gonna do an album by Fancy, we're gonna do anything with anybody in Deep Purple. So don't worry, we're gonna get to it.
I think at this point it's it's just when are we gonna get to it?
Exactly.
They want to
Yeah,
hear
exactly.
it sooner rather than 5 years down the line.
Here's another one that I have like 2 CD copies of. Malice in Wonderland. I do not have a well, I do now, a vinyl copy. So this is great. Printed in Germany. We got a few more here. Ooh. Oh, this is the cover that look at this. Whitesnake Snake Bite. This has got one of the
Wow.
we had 2 different covers, and this is the one that we didn't have. And now we do.
Right.
This is great to get some Whitesnake because I also don't have any Whitesnake vinyl. I see another familiar friend here. Come and get it. Look at that.
The snake in the apple.
Snake in the apple. And on the back, the snake has escaped. More on that later.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy. It just keeps getting better. Boom. Ready and Willing.
Great album.
Produced by Martin Basher Birch.
Does it say Basher?
Yeah, he's called Basher on this one. Wow.
I forgot about that one.
Oh, my God. And something that's still, I believe, the top ranked album in Deep Purple podcast history, David Coverdale, Whitesnake. Inexplicably,
Look at that.
Still untouched.
That's beautiful.
That is absolutely.
Jeez.
I've never had this one on vinyl either. I want to go back and do these episodes again. The Scott Haskin Christmas Tree Skirt album. Love Hunter. Look at that.
I still can't get over that Scott has that for a Christmas tree skirt.
Oh man, great. How do you beat that?
You don't.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they're saving the best for last here, apparently, huh? Just like every
Whitesnake.
friggin' Whitesnake album.
Saints and Sinners. This is great. Yeah, this is like all the I mean, God, this is all the best albums in my opinion. Whitesnake, slip it in, right, John? Slip it in. Slide it in. I still love the fact that you think slip it in is somehow dirtier than slide it in. As if one is.
It's funnier for some reason. I don't know. If it's dirty or it's
I
definitely
always
funnier.
get them confused. Slip of the tongue, slip it in. Whitesnake, the 1987
Well, I don't know.
album.
Slip it in just sounds like, yeah. Slip it in just sounds like, I don't know, like more accidental. It's just like, whoops.
Whoops. Oh wow! Look at this. Original Trouble with the white cover.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Is it the white vinyl? No, I think it's the regular vinyl. Look at that. Oh, it's a heart from. It was on Harvest. Huh, interesting. I don't know anything about album pressings or any of that, so this is great. This is from yep, another German pressing, and there is one more in here. Oh, and you know what? I was hoping that this would be it. It is a Doppel album, and it is Live in the Heart of the City. Look at that.
Hi-oh.
Wow.
Look at John Lord over on the side. He looks like a cowboy.
He does. That vest. This is like this is such a great. I love it. It's so like almost phony looking, but it's so cool at the same time. Like how they just kind of stuck
Yeah.
everybody on there. It's like clearly not not a photo and not a
Like
shot.
it looks like a it looks like it's a painting
Yeah. But they've like the way they've stuck everybody on
or
there. Like
illustration.
they'd obviously never be on stage that close to each other. They'd be bumping into each other left and right. But it's such a cool album cover. Wow, Norman, I gotta say, you really
Mhm.
undersold what this was gonna be. He's just like, there's nothing rare in there. It's like, well, it's nothing rare in there, but God, I only had a few of those albums. Like most of them are those are brand new for me. So that's really cool. I'm gonna have to. I do have one shelf
Geez,
over there in my shelf that has all my Deep Purple stuff. I'm gonna need a second shelf now.
I mean, I would have to say that I would love to receive a box like that.
Should I put all this back in the box?
No,
and
but
send it to you?
seriously. Well, because you don't. Well, really, I mean, I don't know what we were expecting either. But holy cow, it's like I can't think of anything in that box that wasn't cool.
I know it's all
Even
like
though it's like stuff we've seen.
yeah,
most
it's
of
best
it,
of
you
the
know.
best stuff. It's just it's like all top tier things, or at least stuff that we really love. So thank you so much. That is
Yeah.
an amazing donation to the show and the archive, and excited to put those in our collection. And we got a lot of great videos here to watch too. So it's awesome. If anyone else wants to send us your complete Deep Purple collection, just let me know. I'll get you an address. But wow.
Yeah, watch. You'd be like mine next time, and I open it up, and it's just like a bunch of crap. Like,
Oh sure,
oh
John.
boy, let me do an unboxing. I'll be like, like,
Rich,
what is a
Rich had
war
sent me-
horse? What the fuck?
Rich sent me be like 7 copies of War Horse. Rich had sent me a bunch of
with my luck.
a bunch of memorabilia a while back too, and lots of great stuff and posters and all sorts of stuff. And he sent us that I think we opened it earlier as a little Christmas gift for us too. So yeah, we don't mind getting mail. It's great stuff, especially stuff like that. Wow, I'm excited. What a treat. But anyway, yeah, that was a little unexpected. Figured we'd do it on the episode, and very, very happy about
Pat
that.
it out a little bit.
Yeah, pat out
the episode a little bit.
But yeah, it's good to do some shorter episodes. We're gonna have a special guest for you next week, and a special album review. Looking forward to it as we approach episode 100. We're getting there. Very exciting. All right. Well,
Ooh.
John, I've got to get to sleep in hopes that I can wake up at 5 a.m. and shovel my driveway and potentially get out of my driveway, depending on how much snow we get. So I might be working from home.
That sounds
tomorrow.
fantastic.
I can't wait. So it's good that we had a shorter episode because I have to go to sleep because it's going to be a really terrible day tomorrow. But
awesome.
All right, sir. Well, it was great talking to you. I will check you next week.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also give us a rating on iTunes to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.